Turning now to the escalating crisis in Iraq and a number of key developments today. The Sunni militants behind the uprising took control of more towns, moving closer to Baghdad. The U.S. has ruled out sending troops, but Iran is now getting involved. All of this is having an impact on the price you pay at the pump. We'll get to that in a moment, but first, Stuart Greer with the latest on the ground.
In vehicles seized from the Iraqi army, the Sunni extremist fighters of ISIL are closing in on Baghdad after reportedly seizing 2 more towns northeast of the capital. With the fate of their country at stake, hundreds of Shia volunteers signed up to join government forces to repel the advancing insurgents. It comes after a desperate call to arms by Iraq's Shia spiritual leader. For now, it's the Iraqi Air Force responsible for the fight back, attacking ISIL targets in areas around Tikrit and Mosul. The situation is now so critical, even Iraq's old foe, Iran, has reportedly sent 3 units of its elite Revolutionary Guard to help prop up the Iraqi government. But on the ground, the insurgents control huge swaths of the Sunni heartland. Many of the demoralized government troops simply abandon their uniforms and tanks, giving ISIL additional firepower. Stunned by the sudden collapse of Iraqi forces, President Obama says he's weighing his options, but any help will not involve sending American troops back to Iraq.
We can't do it for them. And in the absence of this type of political effort, short-term military action, including any assistance we might provide, won't succeed.
The U.S. spent $1 trillion and lost 4,000 soldiers before pulling out of Iraq. Now the country is sliding towards an all-out sectarian conflict. After fighting in Syria, ISIL, which stands for the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, wants to carve out a new fundamentalist nation in the Middle East.
When they go into areas, they seek to hold that land, and they seek to provide social services. They seek to win hearts and minds and to win the support of local populations.
But at least 500,000 people have fled the violence. The United Nations is investigating atrocities and is warning of more bloodshed.
The number of people killed in recent days may run into the hundreds, and the number of wounded is said to be approaching 1,000.
This new recruit says he will sacrifice his life for Iraq. Flashing the V for victory sign, these volunteers may be confident, but with just 1 day of military training before joining government forces, will they be any match for the battle-hardened fighters of ISIL? Stuart Greer, Global News, London.
The group behind this insurgency, ISIL, or ISIS as it's also known, has been growing in strength. Its leader, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, is described as the new Osama bin Laden. He has been amassing cash and recruiting fighters, including some from Canada. As a result, the group's operational capacity is now much stronger than al-Qaeda. ISIL also has a clear target: to establish a legitimate state in Iraq and Syria.